Jinwoo Park sat on his worn couch, staring at the official-looking document in his trembling hands. The paper was thick and expensive, with gold trim and formal stamps, nothing like the bills that usually filled his mailbox. He read the same sentence again and again, unable to fully process what it meant. Your great-uncle Tahoe Park has bequeathed to you his entire estate, valued at 4.2 billion credits, as well as all associated contracts and properties. Jinwoo looked up at the lawyer, Mr. Kim, who sat stiffly across from him. The man's suit probably cost more than Jinwoo's entire apartment. There must be some mistake, Jinwoo said. I barely knew Uncle Tahoe. We only met twice. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. There is no mistake, Mr. Park. Your great-uncle was very clear in his will. You are his sole heir. Jinwoo ran a hand through his messy hair. He was a 22-year-old college student who worked part-time at a convenience store. Last week, he had celebrated finding a 10-credit bill in his old jacket pocket. Now he was a billionaire. What's this about a companion contract? Jinwoo asked, pointing to a line in the document. Mr. Kim checked his watch. Yes, that should be arriving shortly. As if summoned by his words, the doorbell rang. Mr. Kim's thin lips curved into what might have been a smile. Perfect timing. That would be the other part of your inheritance. Jinwoo walked to his door on unsteady legs. When he pulled it open, he froze completely. The woman standing in his doorway was tall and graceful, with skin the color of a deep ocean, a blue so rich it seemed to shimmer. Her eyes were large and silvery, like liquid moonlight, and her hair fell in waves that seemed to change color as she moved. She wore simple clothes that somehow looked elegant on her perfect frame. She bowed deeply. Greetings, Jinwoo Park. I am Nera of Arcturus. I served as your great-uncle's cultural advisor and friend for 40 years. Her voice sounded like music, with a strange accent that made even simple words sound beautiful. According to our contract, I now serve you. Jinwoo's mouth opened and closed several times before he managed to speak. You're an alien. The blue woman's lips curved into a smile. Yes, I am Arcturian, the fifth wave of my kind to visit Earth since your planet joined the Galactic Confederation. Jinwoo stepped back, bumping into the wall. Earth joined what now? From the living room, Mr. Kim cleared his throat. Perhaps I should leave you two to get acquainted. All the necessary documents are on the table. Mr. Park, my contact information is included should you have any questions. He slipped past them and out the door, looking relieved to escape the awkward situation. Nera remained in the doorway, waiting politely. Jinwoo suddenly realized he was being rude. I'm sorry. Please, come in. He gestured toward his tiny apartment, suddenly embarrassed by the dirty dishes in the sink and the laundry piled on a chair. It's not much. Thank you. Nera stepped inside, moving with a fluid grace that made her seem like she was floating. She looked around with interest rather than judgment. Your uncle spoke highly of you, Jinwoo Park. He did. Jinwoo couldn't imagine why. I only met him twice, once when I was 12, at a family gathering. Then again when I was 16, when he visited Seoul. Nera nodded. The second meeting. You asked him about the stars. Jinwoo did remember that. Uncle Tahoe had been standing alone on the balcony during a family dinner, looking up at the night sky, while everyone else was inside talking about Tahoe's businesses and money. Jinwoo had joined him outside and asked about the constellations. They had talked for almost an hour before Jinwoo's mother had called him inside. How do you know about that? Jinwoo asked. Tahoe told me. He said it was the moment he decided you would be his heir. Nara moved to the window, looking out at the city. He said, everyone else sees my wallet. The boy sees the same wonder I do. Jinwoo felt a lump in his throat. He had liked his eccentric great-uncle, with his wild stories that nobody believed. Now he wondered how many of those stories had been true. What exactly did my uncle do? The papers say he was an anthropologist. Xenanthropologist, Nara corrected gently. He studied alien cultures, my culture, and many others. He was one of the first humans to establish ethical trade partnerships across species. That is how he built his fortune. Jinwoo sank into a chair, trying to absorb this information. And you? What exactly is our contract? I was your uncle's guide to the Confederation. I helped him navigate alien customs and protocols, translated when needed, and advised him on cultural matters. In return, he provided me with the opportunity to study human culture, which is my field of expertise. She paused. The contract transfers to you unless you choose to release me from it. I wouldn't know the first thing about any of this, Jinwoo admitted. Nara smiled again. That is why I am here, to help you learn. Later that evening, after hours of questions and explanations that left Jinwoo's head spinning, he found a small device among the papers Mr. Kim had left. It was a message chip, according to Nara. When Jinwoo pressed his thumb to it, a hologram appeared in the middle of his living room, a perfect, miniature version of an old man with kind eyes and a mischievous smile. "Hello, Jinwoo," said Uncle Taho's hologram. "If you're seeing this, I've moved on to whatever comes next. I chose you because when we met 10 years ago, you asked me about the stars while everyone else asked about my money." The old man chuckled. "Trust Nara. She'll guide you through what comes next. The universe is bigger and stranger than you can imagine, nephew. Enjoy the ride." The hologram flickered and vanished, leaving Jinwoo staring at the empty space where it had been. He looked at Nara, who was watching him with those strange silver eyes. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now," said Nara, "your life begins to change. The stars you once asked about, they're waiting for you." Hyunki burst into the apartment, then stopped dead in his tracks. Jinwoo and Nara were sitting at the kitchen table, going through stacks of documents. Nara's blue skin seemed to glow under the kitchen lights. "What the?" Hyunki dropped his backpack. "Jinwoo, why is there a blue woman in our kitchen?" Jinwoo looked up, rubbing his tired eyes. "Hyunki, this is Nara. She's Arcturian. Nara, this is my roommate, Hyunki." Nara stood and bowed politely. "It is a pleasure to meet you, Hyunki." Hyunki grabbed Jinwoo's arm and pulled him into the living room. "Are you crazy?" he whispered. "You can't just keep an alien in our apartment. What if the government finds out?" Jinwoo sighed and pulled his arm free. "First, she's not a pet. Second, Earth joined the Galactic Confederation 6 years ago. Her presence is completely legal." Hyunki's eyes widened. "Earth joined what?" "Your friend is correct to be concerned," Nara said, entering the living room. "Though not for the reasons he thinks. Your inheritance makes you a target, Jinwoo." "Target?" Hyunki looked between them. "What inheritance? What's going on?" Jinwoo ran a hand through his hair. "My great-uncle Taho died. He left me everything, including Nara's contract." "You own her?" Hyunki looked horrified. "No," Nara and Jinwoo said at the same time. "It's a professional relationship," Nara explained. "I was Taho's cultural advisor. Now I help Jinwoo." "Help him with what?" Hyunki asked. "Managing 4.2 billion credits, for starters," Jinwoo said. Hyunki's mouth fell open. "Billion?" With a B. "And 17 interstellar businesses," Nara added, "plus real estate on 4 planets." Hyunki sank onto the couch. "I need a drink." The next day, Jinwoo and Nara visited the bank. The manager, who had barely acknowledged Jinwoo in the past, now practically bowed as they entered. The man's eyes kept darting to Nara, though he tried to hide his curiosity. "Mr. Park, an honor to meet the Taho heir. We've prepared everything for your account's transfer." Jinwoo sat awkwardly in the plush office chair. "Thanks. I'm still getting used to all this." Of course. The manager slid a tablet across the desk. "Just your thumbprint here." Nara touched Jinwoo's arm. "Wait." She took the tablet and studied it. This form grants access to only 12% of your inheritance. The rest remains under bank management with considerable fees. She smiled at the manager. Perhaps the correct forms. The manager's smile tightened. There are significant risks with such large sums. The correct forms, Nara repeated, her silver eyes unblinking. By the time they left, Jinwoo had full access to his fortune, and the manager looked like he needed a new shirt, his current one soaked with sweat. That was amazing, Jinwoo said as they walked out. How did you know? Your uncle faced similar tactics. Humans often try to take advantage of those they perceive as inexperienced. She glanced at him. You need proper clothing. Your uncle maintained an appearance that commanded respect. That afternoon, Jinwoo found himself in an exclusive tailor shop being measured for suits that cost more than his previous yearly salary. As the tailor worked, Nara explained the complex structure of Tahoe's businesses. The lunar mining operation provides raw materials for the Mars manufacturing plants, which supply components to the Europa research station. It's quite efficient. Jinwoo tried to focus, but his head was spinning. I don't know the first thing about running a business, let alone 17 of them. You don't need to run them directly. Your uncle had capable managers. You just need to understand enough to ensure no one is taking advantage of you. Days passed in a whirlwind of meetings, lessons, and adjustments. Jinwoo moved them to a larger apartment in a secure building. Hyunki, after his initial shock, decided the situation was actually pretty cool and peppered Nara with questions about alien life. One evening, a week after the inheritance, Nara showed Jinwoo a sleek datapad. Your uncle maintained quite a following on Galactic credit, she mentioned. 23 million subscribers from 34 species. What's Galactic credit? Jinwoo asked, looking up from his dinner. An interspecies forum. Tahoe was famous for his posts about cultural misunderstandings. Quite the celebrity. Jinwoo took the datapad, scrolling through his uncle's posts. They were fascinating. Stories of diplomatic near-disasters, humorous translation errors, and thoughtful reflections on what united sentient beings across the galaxy. His followers have been asking about his absence, Nara said. They don't know he's gone. Jinwoo felt a wave of sadness. All these people cared about him, and I barely knew him. You could tell them, Nara suggested gently, and perhaps introduce yourself. Jinwoo thought about it for days. Finally, he sat down one evening with the datapad. How do I even start? Be honest, Nara said. That's what Tahoe would do. After much deliberation, Jinwoo decided to make his first post. Man, I just inherited the Tahoe fortune, and I have no idea what I'm doing. AMA. He hit send before he could change his mind. Now what? Now we wait for. Nara was interrupted by the datapad chiming, then chiming again, and again, and again in a continuous stream. Within minutes, Jinwoo's inbox exploded with messages from across the galaxy. The datapad screen filled with notifications faster than he could read them. That's a lot of messages, Jinwoo said weakly. Nara looked both amused and concerned. It appears Tahoe's followers are quite eager to meet you. Jinwoo picked a message at random. PHLOXIAN. Is it true you're a young human with no space experience? How did Tahoe choose you? Did he lose a bet? This is a joke using human humor conventions. Another read. ZENTARICOLEC. We offer 57 million credits for exclusive access to Tahoe's Senocultural archives. Response requested within 7 rotations. And another. Human CN Tahoe helped my family establish diplomatic relations when no one else would. Is his work going to continue? Jinwoo looked at Nara, overwhelmed. What do I do with all this? You respond, but carefully. Nara took the datapad and selected a message. Start with this one. The message was simple. ARC2RIANELDER. Tahoe was my friend for 52 of your Earth years. I sense he is no longer among the living. Is this true? Jinwoo took a deep breath and wrote his reply. Man, yes. My great-uncle Tahoe passed away 2 weeks ago. I'm his heir, though I never expected to be. I'm learning about his work and his friends across the galaxy. He clearly touched many lives. He sent it and watched as responses flooded in, messages of sympathy, stories about his uncle, and offers of help and partnership. Nara touched his shoulder gently. Your life has changed forever, Jinwoo. The galaxy knows who you are now. Jinwoo nodded slowly. I'm not just managing money and businesses, am I? I'm continuing his legacy. Yes, Nara said. And that legacy extends far beyond Earth. As if to emphasize her point, the security system chimed, alerting them to a delivery. When Jinwoo opened the door, he found a strange crystalline plant that seemed to glow from within. Attached was a note. From the gardens of Procyon. Tahoe admired these. May his wisdom grow in you. Ambassador Killer. Jinwoo placed the plant by the window and watched as it turned toward the city lights. I think, he said quietly, I'm going to need more than just new suits. Jinwoo woke to the sound of his datapad chiming nonstop. The notifications hadn't stopped all night. He fumbled for the device, squinting at the bright screen. Over 10,000 new messages had arrived while he slept. Nara entered his room, already dressed in her simple blue tunic. Her silver eyes took in his sleepy state with a patient smile. Good morning, Jinwoo. I have prepared breakfast. Thanks, he mumbled, still staring at the datapad. This is crazy. All I did was post one message. In the kitchen, Nara poured him a cup of coffee while he scrolled through the messages. She leaned over his shoulder, pointing at the statistics on the screen. You've gone viral across 3 spiral arms, Nara said, scrolling through Jinwoo's Galactic credit notifications. You're now officially a galactic sensation. Jinwoo groaned. I just wanted to connect with Uncle Tahoe's followers, not become famous. Fame was inevitable. The Tahoe fortune is well known throughout the Confederation. Many species are curious about the human who inherited it all. Jinwoo rubbed his temples. What should I do with all these messages? We can sort them into categories, Nara suggested. Business proposals, condolences, media requests, and so on. Before they could begin, the chime of his security system interrupted them. A package had arrived at the front desk of their building. I'll get it, Jinwoo said, grateful for the break. The package was small and wrapped in plain black material. The desk clerk handed it over with a curious look. Special delivery, Mr. Park. Required DNA verification to receive it. Back in the apartment, Jinwoo carefully unwrapped the package. Inside was a small black cube with no obvious openings. A small paper note was attached to it. What is it? He asked Nara. She took the cube carefully, examining it without touching its surfaces directly. It's a standard message cube. It will activate when pressed. Jinwoo read the note aloud. Humans and aliens don't mix. Return the blue demon to her kind or face consequences. Purity Front. Nara's silver eyes darkened, the bright mercury color dulling to a stormy gray. She set the cube down as if it might bite. I feared this, she said quietly. The Purity Front is a xenophobic terrorist group. They believe humans should remain isolated from other species. Jinwoo looked from the cube to Nara. Terrorist group. Are we in danger? Potentially. The Purity Front has committed violence before. They opposed Earth joining the Confederation. They've bombed interspecies meeting places and attacked prominent humans who work with aliens. Jinwoo picked up the cube again. Why would they target me? I just inherited this position. That's precisely why. You're new, untested. They hope to frighten you into cutting ties with the Confederation. She hesitated. And with me. Did my uncle deal with them too? Yes. In fact, he was researching their organization before his death. Nara's voice grew quiet. Jinwoo, I don't believe your uncle died of natural causes. The words hung in the air between them. Jinwoo sat heavily on a chair. You think they killed him? For working with aliens? I don't have proof. But your uncle was healthy and careful. His death was unexpected and came just as he was making progress tracking the Purity Front's leadership. Jinwoo looked at the black cube. Should we press it? See what message is inside. No, Nara said firmly. It could be dangerous. We should take it to your uncle's research facility. He had containment equipment there. Research facility? Where? On Mars. Your uncle maintained a private laboratory there for his most sensitive work. Jinwoo blinked. Mars. As in, the planet Mars. Yes, we can take his private shuttle. It's docked at the Seoul spaceport. 2 days later, after a flurry of preparations and security checks, they boarded Tahoe's private shuttle. Jinwoo had never been off Earth before. The shuttle was small but luxurious, with comfortable seating and large viewports. How long will the trip take? Jinwoo asked as they strapped into their seats. About 8 hours, Nero replied, checking the navigation system. Your uncle's shuttle has advanced propulsion technology. The launch was smoother than Jinwoo expected. Soon, they were breaking through Earth's atmosphere, the blue planet growing smaller behind them. The blackness of space surrounded them, stars shining with a clarity Jinwoo had never seen before. Hours later, a red dot grew in the distance, gradually becoming larger. As they approached the red planet, Jinwoo gazed out the viewport, mesmerized by the rust-colored surface with its canyons and extinct volcanoes. I still can't believe any of this is real, he said softly. The universe contains many wonders, Nara replied, standing close beside him. And many dangers. The shuttle descended toward a small facility built into the side of a crater. It looked like a collection of domes connected by tubes, with solar panels spreading out around it like petals. Your uncle chose this location for its isolation, Nara explained as they docked. Few know of its existence. They put on lightweight Mars suits before leaving the shuttle. Inside the facility, Jinwoo was surprised by how homey it felt. The main dome contained living quarters with comfortable furniture, a kitchen area, and walls lined with books and strange artifacts. This way, Nara said, leading him to a smaller dome that served as a laboratory. At the center sat a large computer terminal. Nara activated it with a wave of her hand. The screen lit up, displaying a file prominently. Purity Front Leadership. The last entry was dated 1 day before his death. He was close to something, Nara said. These files are encrypted, but I have the access codes. As the files opened, Jinwoo saw lists of names, locations, and financial transactions. Many of the names surprised him. Prominent business leaders, politicians, even celebrities. These people are part of the Purity Front? He asked, shocked. According to your uncle's research, yes. They hide behind respectable facades while funding anti-alien activities. A separate file caught Jinwoo's attention. It was labeled DNA Evidence. What's this? Nara opened the file. Complex genetic sequences filled the screen, along with comparative analyses. This was your uncle's most important work, she said. He was proving something that would destroy the Purity Front's entire ideology, something they would kill to keep secret. What was he proving? Before Nara could answer, an alarm blared through the facility. Red lights flashed along the walls. Proximity alert, Nara said, suddenly tense. Someone's approaching. They rushed to the security monitors. 3 black shuttles were landing near the facility. Purity Front, Nara said grimly. They must have tracked us. What do we do? Jinwoo asked, panic rising in his throat. Nara moved quickly, downloading files onto a portable drive. We take what we came for and leave. There's an emergency exit on the far side of the facility. As they gathered what they needed, Jinwoo glanced again at the DNA file still displayed on the screen. Something about the patterns looked strangely familiar. Nara, what was my uncle trying to prove with this research? She hesitated, then met his eyes directly. That humans and Arcturians share a common ancestor, that our species are related. The implications hit Jinwoo like a physical blow. That's why they killed him. And why they're after us now. Yes, the truth would destroy everything they stand for. The facility shook as something struck one of the outer domes. We need to go. Now. Nara grabbed his arm, pulling him toward the exit. As they ran, Jinwoo realized their discovery changed everything, not just for him, but potentially for all of humanity. The emergency shuttle shot away from Mars, leaving the red planet behind as Jinwoo and Nara escaped the Purity Front attackers. They had barely made it out, grabbing the most important research files before fleeing through the hidden exit tunnel. Now, safe in the depths of space, they had time to examine what they'd found. Jinwoo spread the data files across the shuttle's small table display. His face glowed blue in the light of the screen as he studied the complex charts and diagrams. These DNA comparisons, Jinwoo murmured, examining his uncle's research. Is this saying what I think it is? Nara nodded. Her silver eyes reflected the screen's light like twin moons. Tahoe discovered evidence that humans and Arcturians share a common ancestor from approximately 50,000 years ago. That's why the Purity Front wanted him silenced. Because it proves we're related. Exactly. Their entire ideology is based on human genetic uniqueness. This destroys their foundation. Jinwoo stared at the genetic sequences. To his untrained eye, they just looked like colored patterns, but the implications were enormous. Everything he thought he knew about human history was wrong. How is this possible? He asked. How could humans and Arcturians share ancestors? Nara pointed to another file. According to your uncle's research, an advanced spacefaring civilization visited Earth 50 millennia ago. They took human specimens and settled on Arcturus. Over time, the two populations evolved differently due to their environments, but the genetic base remains remarkably similar. And Uncle Tahoe could prove this. Yes, he found ancient human remains with transitional DNA markers, and he identified 27 genetic sequences that are identical between our species, too many to be coincidence. Jinwoo sat back, trying to absorb this information. So the Purity Front killed him to hide this truth. I believe so. They claim humans are special, meant to develop alone, untainted by alien influence. This evidence would destroy their entire movement. For the next 3 days, they remained in deep space, moving in an irregular pattern to avoid being tracked. They slept in shifts, one always watching for pursuers. During this time, they worked through Tahoe's files, piecing together the full scope of his research. Jinwoo learned how to use the shuttle's secure communication system to access Galactic credit without revealing their location. He posted carefully worded questions, gathering information from contacts across the stars. Many of Tahoe's old friends responded with pieces of the puzzle. A Zentari scientist confirmed seeing similar research. A Proximan trader remembered shipping special containment units to Tahoe. A human archaeologist recalled Tahoe visiting an ancient site in South America where strange artifacts had been found. Look at this, Jinwoo said on the third day, pointing to a financial record. Regular payments from my uncle's main account to a shell company called Pure Vision Enterprises. Nara looked over his shoulder. That's interesting. The timing matches when the Purity Front began gaining power. Why would Uncle Tahoe fund a group that opposed everything he stood for? He wouldn't, Nara said. Unless he was tracking their money, Jinwoo finished, following the trail to find their leaders. They dug deeper into the financial records. The shell company received funds from dozens of sources, then distributed them to various initiatives, all promoting anti-alien sentiment on Earth. Here, Nara pointed to a name that appeared repeatedly, Dong-Hyun Kim. He authorized many of these transfers. My financial advisor. Jinwoo felt sick. The one who's been helping me manage the inheritance. Yes. And look, he had access to your uncle's schedule. He would have known when Taiho was alone at the Mars facility. Jinwoo remembered how eager Dongyun had been to help him navigate his new wealth, how he had suggested selling off the interstellar businesses and focusing only on Earth investments. "We need to expose him and the whole Purity Front," Jinwoo said firmly. "It will be dangerous," Nara warned. "They have resources and followers, and they've already killed once. My uncle died for this truth. I won't let that be for nothing." They set course for Earth, planning to deliver their evidence to both human authorities and the Galactic Confederation Embassy. As they approached Mars orbit again, taking the fastest route home, the proximity alarm suddenly blared. "Multiple vehicles approaching," the computer announced in its calm voice. On the security feed, they saw 6 black shuttles rising from the Martian surface, moving to intercept them. "Purity Front," Nara said grimly. "We need to leave. Now." Jinwoo took the controls, pushing the engines to maximum. "How did they find us?" "They must have been waiting, watching for our return." The shuttle shuddered as something struck its rear section. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "They're firing on us," Jinwoo yelled. "Evasive maneuvers," Nara instructed. "Head for that crater. We can use it for cover." Jinwoo piloted the shuttle low across the Martian surface, dust billowing behind them. The black shuttles followed, gaining ground. "I'm not a pilot," Jinwoo shouted as they narrowly missed a rocky outcropping. "You're doing fine," Nara said, though her knuckles were white as she gripped her seat. "There, that canyon. Go in there." The shuttle dipped into a deep Martian canyon, the black shuttles close behind. Jinwoo weaved between rock formations, his heart pounding. One of the pursuing shuttles crashed into a wall, exploding in a bright flash. Another veered off, damaged. "It's working," Jinwoo said. "Don't celebrate yet," Nara warned. Look, 2 shuttles had moved above the canyon, tracking them from the high ground. As Jinwoo watched the security feed, a figure leaned out of one shuttle, aiming what looked like a cannon. "Hard left," Nara shouted. Jinwoo yanked the controls, but not before something hit their right engine. The shuttle spun, scraping against the canyon wall before Jinwoo regained control. "We can't outrun them with a damaged engine," he said. "Then we fight," Nara replied, opening a hidden compartment beneath her seat. She removed what looked like a small silver pistol. "Your uncle was prepared for trouble." They burst out of the canyon into open terrain. With the damaged engine, they couldn't reach escape velocity to leave Mars. Instead, Jinwoo aimed for a small research outpost visible in the distance, a neutral facility with security. As they approached the outpost, one of the black shuttles swooped low, coming alongside them. Through the viewport, Jinwoo caught a glimpse of one of the attackers removing their mask, a face he recognized. "That's Dongyun, my financial advisor," he gasped as they managed to surge ahead, escaping into the thin Martian sky. "The one who's been handling your uncle's accounts," Nara confirmed, her voice tight. "It seems we've found our connection." They reached the research outpost, landing roughly on the small platform. Alarms were already blaring as they stumbled out, clutching the precious data drive. The black shuttle circled overhead, but didn't approach. The outpost's defensive systems had activated, keeping them at bay. As security personnel surrounded them, Jinwoo looked at Nara. "We need to contact Earth immediately. And the Confederation. It's time everyone learned the truth." Nara nodded, her silver eyes reflecting the red Martian landscape. "Your uncle would be proud, Jinwoo. You've become more like him than you know." The security team ushered them inside as the black shuttles retreated into the distance. The conspiracy was unraveling, but the most dangerous part of their journey was just beginning. The Martian outpost provided Jinwoo and Nara with protection and access to a powerful communication system. Their evidence was too important to risk losing again. With trembling hands, Jinwoo compiled everything they had discovered: the DNA research, the financial records, and proof of Dongyun's involvement with the Purity Front. "Are you ready?" Nara asked, standing beside him at the transmission console. Jinwoo took a deep breath. "Yes, let's do it." Together, they posted to Galactic Reddit. Human/ARCTURIAN, evidence of shared ancestry between humans and Arcturians, plus proof of terrorist organization attempting to sabotage Earth's Confederation membership. Full data enclosed. They attached all the files, unedited and unfiltered. The truth in its entirety. Then they pressed send. "Now we wait," Nara said. They didn't have to wait long. Within minutes, the post began spreading across the interstellar network. Within an hour, it had been viewed 3.7 billion times, breaking all previous records on Galactic Reddit. Messages flooded in from across the Confederation. "It's working," Jinwoo said, watching the numbers climb. "People are listening." The Martian outpost received an emergency transmission from Earth. The Galactic Confederation Embassy requested their immediate presence for a special council meeting. A security detail was dispatched to escort them safely back to Earth. 3 days later, Jinwoo found himself standing before the Confederation Council. Representatives from 47 species gathered in a grand chamber in New Geneva. The room was designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, from the tiny microns who floated in special bubbles to the massive Sicians who joined via holographic projection. Jinwoo wore a formal suit that had belonged to his uncle, tailored to fit him. Nara stood beside him in traditional Arcturian ceremonial attire, flowing silver fabric that complemented her blue skin. "Members of the council," Jinwoo began, his voice steady despite his nerves. "My name is Jinwoo Park. Until recently, I was just a college student. Then I inherited my great-uncle Tahoe's fortune and discovered the truth he died protecting." For the next hour, Jinwoo and Nara presented Tahoe's research. They explained the genetic evidence showing humans and Arcturians shared common ancestors. They revealed the Purity Front's plot to keep humanity isolated from the Confederation. "The organization killed my uncle to hide this truth," Jinwoo said. "They believe humans must remain pure and separate from alien influence." As they finished, a stir moved through the council. A tall, green-skinned Proximan rose to speak. "The human Tahoe visited my world 3 years ago," the Proximan said. "He found similar genetic markers between humans and our species as well." One by one, representatives from 17 different species came forward. Each shared research showing ancient connections to humanity, genetic similarities, archaeological evidence, cultural parallels. "It appears," said the council president, a wise old Centauri, "that humanity is not as isolated as some would have you believe, young Jinwoo. Many roads among the stars lead back to Earth." When it was time for Jinwoo's closing statement, he stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "The stars have always been our shared heritage," Jinwoo concluded in his address to the council. "No terrorist group can change that truth." The council voted unanimously to accept Tahoe's research into the official Confederation records. They also approved measures to dismantle the Purity Front's network on Earth and other worlds. Dong Yun and other Purity Front leaders were arrested the same day. News reports showed them being led away in restraints, their faces shocked at the sudden collapse of their organization. 2 weeks later, back in Jinwoo's apartment, now a penthouse overlooking Seoul, he stood by the window watching the city lights. So much had changed in such a short time. He was now one of the most famous humans in the galaxy. Businesses were thriving. His uncle's research was changing how humans saw their place in the universe. Nara entered the room quietly. She had been by his side through it all. The danger, the discoveries, the diplomacy. She approached him with a datapad in her hands. "Our contract," she said. "It expires tomorrow." Jinwoo looked at the datapad, then back at Nara. In the weeks they had spent together, facing danger and uncovering secrets, his feelings for her had grown into something he hadn't expected. "I've been thinking about that," he said. "I don't want a contract anymore." Nara's expression fell, her silver eyes dimming. "I understand." No, he smiled, reaching out to take her hand. I mean, I don't want a contract because I want something real. These past months, working together, running for our lives, I've developed feelings for you, Nera. Real ones. Her blue skin flushed purple, the Arcturian equivalent of a blush. I was hoping you would say that. Is that even allowed? Jinwoo asked. Humans and Arcturians. It's rare, Nara admitted, but not unheard of, especially now that we know our species share ancestry. So we're very distant cousins, Jinwoo said with a laugh. Very, very distant, Nara agreed, smiling. The following day, Jinwoo sat down at his computer one more time. He had been thinking about his uncle's legacy and what to do with the fortune he had inherited. Now he knew. He made his final post as the inheritor of the Tahoe fortune. Huanan. Today I established the Tahoe Park Foundation for interspecies understanding. My uncle taught me that inheritance isn't just about credits. It's about carrying forward ideas and connections across the stars. Also, I'm dating an Arcturian now, and it turns out we might be very distant cousins. The universe is strange and wonderful. The message went live, spreading across the network at light speed. Within minutes, responses